how's the weather looking this weekend?
You'll definitely want to make sure that you're packing the rain gear if you're going out to St. Helens.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah, or anywhere here across the Pacific Northwest, because we are preparing for a wet and a much cooler weekend ahead. 58 degrees for Saturday. By Sunday, falling back into the mid-50s. Some of the coolest air we have felt for our afternoon highs in over 190 days. Of course, that's matched with the wet weather once again returning to the Pacific Northwest. As we give you a grand tour here across our area, the cloudy skies still remain. PDX at about 62 degrees, and we will pick up on maybe a stray raindrop or two as we work our way through the rest of the night. Those temperatures falling back into the upper 50s for Hillsboro at this hour. Low 60s for us up and down the I-5 corridor. And for the rest of this evening, expected to keep temperatures relatively mild in the mid-50s. That cloud coverage acting a bit like a blanket for us to help keep things on the comfortable side. But I've gone ahead, issued a flannel watch for this weekend as cooler and rainier weather finds its way back into the Pacific Northwest. After our rain gauges managed to fill up to just a couple of 1/100ths of an inch out over the Cascades, and relatively dry for us through the I-5 corridor, with the exception of this one cell racing its way from Linn County and points further to the north, passing through Albany, Salem as we speak, with a few isolated lightning strikes. But that's going to be the extent of the moisture really for the remainder of this evening. We might pick up on an additional stray raindrop or two as a center of low pressure still remains just offshore, not only helping to push in some cooler temperatures, but also the cloud coverage and a few of those raindrops as it rejoins the jet stream here. That's going to allow for an even cooler pocket of air to dive its way further to the south Saturday into Sunday. And then we get this next low pressure system just to kind of keep the temperatures cool and the push of moisture finding its way back into western Oregon and southwest Washington. So we'll time everything out here with our futurecast. Maybe a raindrop or two as we work our way through the rest of this evening. A relatively dry night ahead for us. More wet weather for the start of the day on Friday. You'll notice a little bit of that mountain snow also starting to fire up. Now, one moment we'll be seeing rainy conditions, the next dry. That's really going to be taking us through Saturday into Sunday. This is a snapshot of Saturday morning with an isolated raindrop or two by the afternoon, picking up on more persistent widespread rain before we dry things back out. A few breaks in the clouds as we push our way past the sunset hour on Saturday. So our rain gauges over the next 48 hours filling up the bucket close to about 1/4 of an inch to a 1/2 inch in many locations, anywhere from the coast to the high terrain of the Cascades. And speaking of the Cascades, snow elevation levels falling back to about 4,500 feet. Now, some of the most significant snowfall we have seen so far this fall season gets underway Saturday night into Sunday, eventually into Monday as well. Places like Mount Hood likely going to be seeing snow accumulation close to a foot, with brief dusting possible over some of those high mountain passes. Now, tonight, falling back into the low 50s with us, mostly cloudy skies. Again, that wet weather potential doesn't really ramp up until your morning commute. But hey, sweater weather officially here with those daytime highs falling back into the mid-50s for us by Sunday before we gradually warm things back up. But if you're heading out to Autzen Stadium for the football game on Saturday, maybe pack the rain gear. Even though it never rains at Autzen Stadium, it will at least make for a good time to maybe sit back, stay dry and relaxed at your place right here in the Rose City as you watch the Ducks. Big game right here on KOIN 6, but hey, drier, sunnier, and warmer weather that returns by the middle and end of next week.
Yeah, this is definitely the weekend to stay inside and watch the game.
Football, great classic October weekend ahead for us.
That's right, Josh.
Might be okay for tailgating though.
Yeah.
A little bit of
I would
rain
think
can
so.
kind of sets the mood.
I know.
It
Here
does.
we are. We're
Sets the
like, don't go outside. It's
Trust me,
raining.
it'll be packed, rain or shine.
It
for
will.
sure.
It will.
All right, thanks, Josh.
Yeah.